What's up YouTube, this is Tubedigga. In this video I'm going to take another look at the audio track features of the MPC Live and MPC X, paying specific focus to what happens when you attempt to load quite large audio files to multiple audio tracks. So you might have seen my previous video regarding audio tracks and how to best use those alongside samples within a program. The MPC Live and MPC X are really excellent when it comes to just putting in a simple audio file into an audio track and then playing that back at different tempos. I think the algorithm's pretty decent if you're doing some kind of basic remixing with acapellas and instrumentals. But I'm going to demonstrate in this video why it's not a good idea to try and utilize multiple audio tracks with large data heavy files. So I'm going to press and hold my shift button and press menu, and we're in my SD card in my samples folder, and I've got this folder here, Universal Audio Track Video. So in here I've got 7 audio tracks that have been bounced out from Ableton Live. This is a track called Universal that I produced around this time last year under my Astro Magnum pseudonym. Now there's 7 tracks, they're all around 86 megabytes in size, which is about 7.5 minutes long each. So that's quite a lot of data. I think it's around 600 megabytes or so. If we go up one level and focus on that folder, press and hold shift, then I get the option to load all. Let's see what happens when I try that. So it doesn't take very long to load those in, but we get this warning. One sample was not loaded due to insufficient memory, and it says it's the last one, the string WAV. Okay, so I'm going to press OK, and then press menu, and then go to my sample editor, and then I can flick through, and as we can see at the end of the list, it has loaded in the string. And you'll also notice that all these files have large amounts of silence. So we're using up a lot of memory. A lot of memory is being wasted due to these sections of audio that don't have any actual sounds in them. And that's the same for everything. So the string, the vocals here, Kyra, there's gaps here that we could chop out, so on and so forth for all of these. So the first point I want to make is that if we load these into the audio tracks of the MPC Live, there's no way that we can save memory by chopping out these spaces, unfortunately. It would be really great if we could, and then just spot these sounds in place so we don't lose the sync or the arrangement. I could go back into Ableton Live and then group more of these tracks so I wasn't using up as many of these. So this is an extreme demonstration to show you what happens if you do overload the memory. But as I just said, it would make more sense if I group the ARPs maybe with another mid-range sound and some of the SFX, maybe the vocals I could keep on their own and keep the drums on their own and just do it logically like that. But the reason I've loaded all 7 stems out of my Ableton Live session is just to show you what kind of things you're going to come up against if you do attempt to do that. So let's go to menu again, or main should I say. Let's flick into audio track mode and go to edit audio. Now let's browse the samples. I'm going to load in the first audio file there, ARPs. And I'm going to increase my amount of bars by turning my second Q-Link knob down clockwise. Now, I don't know if this is a bug because we're overloading the memory, but it won't let me zoom in, or rather zoom out anymore. I can zoom in, but it won't let me zoom out anymore for some reason. So the second thing I've noticed is if I scroll to a bit of silence, as I just said a couple of minutes back, you can't save memory by chopping this out. This is just looking at a reference of the source audio file that I've loaded in, which is obviously taking up the RAM. If I get my scissors and chop into this audio, look what happens. It's created this weird glitchy waveform in here. I have tried playing this back and it is actually silent, but it's just some visual glitch that occurs because the MPC Live is now struggling to do the correct processing that it would do normally. Let's go back to the main page again. What happens if we try and add an additional audio track? Not enough memory to create audio tracks. Okay, If we press on our System Resources button, low memory, save project now, or you may lose unsaved progress. So there's no point in me carrying on from this point trying to work with this track. Okay, but I'm not going to stop there. What I'm going to do is create a new project. So press new. Let's just go up to our System Resources, and we've cleared our memory. And I'm going to navigate back to that same folder on my SD card, Samples, Universal. And I'm going to load in these tracks individually, but I'm going to omit the last sample here, string. So load, bass, chords, and Kyra. So it's let us load all of those in. We're still getting a memory warning coming up, but as you can see, we've got a bit more to play with now. So I'm going to press OK, go to my main page, and now I'm going to go to audio track mode, and now let's try and add multiple tracks. So now it's letting us load in multiple audio tracks, so we've got enough memory to do that. Let's go back down to the first track, edit audio, browse samples, and let's load in all these to our different tracks. So we've got ARPs on the first track, use our data wheel, and we can scroll up, browse samples, bass, scroll up again, chords, scroll up again, drums and perc, and again, FX, and on our last track, we've got the vocals by my friend Kyra. Let's now try and zoom out. So we need to create some additional bars. So let's create a load of bars there. I'm turning my second Q-Link clockwise. And let's see if we can now zoom. So again, we can't zoom. I don't know why that is. I'm not too sure whether it's just something to do with the amount of bars that I've created. Let's just create 500 bars, just so we've got lots to play with. So it's still not letting me zoom. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong there, but it's not letting me zoom out very far at all. And I'm really not sure if that's an issue with me, but I can't zoom for some reason. I'm not too sure if that is another memory issue. Anyway, what I'm going to do is play this track back just to show you that the MPC Live and MPCX, if you've got one, is completely capable of playing back all these tracks simultaneously. Okay, I'm going to stop the track there because it does go on for 7.5 minutes. I'll put a link in the description so you can listen to that track. So there you go. The MPC Live is completely powerful and capable enough to play all those tracks back with absolutely no glitches at all. But if we wanted to then start adding additional effects or other things over the top of that, I wouldn't like to take the risk personally with that much memory left in the Akai Mpc Live to play with. But it does show you that, yeah, you can actually utilize all of those tracks. I reckon I could add another couple of audio tracks if these samples were shorter. This track is an extreme example because it's 7.5 minutes long. So you could completely utilize all 8 audio tracks or all 7 and use the 8th track maybe to record into. But again, I wouldn't like to take a risk of losing all my work if a bad glitch happened because I'd overloaded the RAM memory. So yeah, you could totally reconstruct your tracks within here, but I'm going to emphasize this again. What's the point really? If you've already constructed a track that's sounding great in another bit of software, you may as well either bounce the entire track out, just bring it in and utilize one audio track, which would save you tons of memory, or just bounce out a few tracks if you wanted to do further remixing within the MPC Live or MPC-X standalone environment. So the last point I want to make is that I think a lot of people out there have got very high expectations as to what these machines can do, particularly when using audio tracks. I don't think Akai made any over-inflated claims. I just think it's been misinterpreted, but I do understand people's frustrations. I know a lot of the product demonstration videos out there cover lots of things that these machines do, but they don't go into every single detail. That's what I'm here for. And if you want to check out all my other videos, those videos are there for that exact purpose. So you know from real life experience what these machines can actually do. Please like, subscribe and share. If you want to give me a bit of support, please head over to my Patreon page, chuck us $1 a month or so. I would greatly appreciate it. And that would enable me to continue to making these videos to help you guys out. All right, this is Tubedigga. Peace.